Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything between in the wide world of Warhammer. Extremely excited to be here today discussing some exciting topics of the day. My name is Adrian Phillips, I am your host, and I'm joined, as always, by the fabulous Mr. Zach Pfeiffer. How you doing today, Zach?
Fabulous. I'm not sure I've ever been described as fabulous before. I like it, though.
I think you're pretty fabulous.
That's a great way to describe me from now on. From now on, we'll go with that.
All right, I'll inform everyone, let them know what's going on. We're excited to be here today. Of course, we discuss things that are going on in the World of Warhammer. We're going to discuss some interesting news of the day. If you do want to see more of this content, if you're interested, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that button down below. It costs you nothing, and it hugely helps us create more of this content. So really appreciate it, and let your friends know. We know this is a bit different than what we normally put out, so it's fun to see if that might interest some new folks. So today, a number of interesting topics to discuss.
Yeah.
Of course, number one, is Age of Sigmar doing updates right? A lot of cool things that Sigmar's doing that I think 40K could maybe learn from. So we're excited to talk about that. And of course, as always, hear from you guys how you think these games should be updated. What do you prefer? What do you not prefer? So interesting kind of big topic for today. And then, of course, our second topic is hot or grot, the, what is it, Lord Solar Leontus, otherwise known as Pony Man. Nobody calls him Pony Man, but it's going to be exciting.
Oh, are we going to start calling him Pony Man now?
Pony Man.
Pony Boy?
Pony Boy. I was like,
Stay golden?
There's definitely a thing for that. So it's going to be a ton of fun. We'll discuss that. Of course, if you guys have thoughts, questions, let us know. Send us a super chat over. This is not a lecture. It's a discussion.
That's right.
And hopefully you all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Let's dive on in and have a nice chat.
Yeah.
All right, so of course, first topic of the day, talking about updates, Age of Sigmar, 40K, both games going through lots of changes in the last couple of years, frankly, as far as how do they keep the game up to date, how do they inform us of changes, things like that. So we want to kind of start off by taking a look at basically what the two are currently doing and what they can learn from each other. We talked about the Balanced Data Slate a few weeks ago when that came out. Recently, last week, we had the War Scroll update, which is the Sigmar equivalent, right? Now, the War Scroll update does a number of interesting things. So let's go ahead and take a look. Totally lost my thing. Here we go. First of all, this is from the points update for 40K. This is how all the points get shown up. And I think everyone is immediately knowing where we're going with this particular topic.
Right, now, like on face value, it makes sense. This is how many points everything is worth.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe your first rodeo with this, you're like, okay, makes sense, right? But something, of course, is missing for people who have lists that they are running, right? Like, oh, here's my list. I was going to take it this weekend. I guess we're using these now.
Exactly.
How does that affect me?
Right. It's good if you, kind of like you said, weren't playing it all before. You pick up this, you know, okay, these are the points that I use. It's not the points in the codex. Kind of minimal jump.
Right.
But if you are playing something currently, this is a 55-page document with every point, every unit appointed in the game, and that is crazy tough to dig through.
Oh, is that right? They put out the points for, so it's almost like a, and they said they weren't going to do this anymore. It's almost like the Munitorium.
Oh, yes. That's basically what, in fact, I think this document is like still called that or something. It's basically that.
Which is cool. I do like that they switched that from something they're charging you for.
Make it free.
To make it free, because it used to be when they first came out that idea, they charged you for it. And then within a short period of time, it started to become incorrect.
They've been very adaptable, right? Which is another reason why it's good to talk about. If we were just like yelling at the void, this is not interesting.
Right.
So, of course, Sigmar does this. Recent. This is recent? I don't know if they've done this before.
This is recent.
Amazing. This shows the new points, and it shows the differential. So it shows, is it increasing or decreasing in points based off of where it was before. And so it's at a glance. This document, I think, is like 4 pages, including everything. Super easy to look at. It's fantastic. It seems like a no-brainer. I would love for 40K to adapt this. It's amazing. And there's so many sites and, frankly, YouTube channels that go through and do the hard work of parsing out the information. This is something that Games Workshop could be doing themselves. And they are on Sigmar. They're like, here it is.
It is interesting. One of the things, as we talk about how Sigmar updates versus how 40K updates, that we've talked a lot about the studio here, is we know that they're different teams.
Exactly.
We have to believe members of the teams interact with each other. And of course, we absolutely have to believe that members of the teams see what the other ones are doing and discuss it. It's hard to fathom that that's not the case.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder. Yeah, we've been like speculating a lot of like the internal kind of circuitry of GW, and there's certainly like the decisions that are made by the game designers.
Right.
There's production. There's higher ups, and so there's like these different conversations that have to move through. So maybe this is something that's causing an issue. As far as like why are we not seeing this for 40K? Who knows? But
Yeah, it is. Now, a couple other things. They only addressed points, as you kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a 4-page document. So they did not reprint points for anything that didn't change.
Correct.
And to be fair, not a lot changed.
Yeah.
Some armies had no changes at all. Most armies actually,
Yeah.
or about half had no changes.
Yeah, this was maybe 10 factions with 5 units each or so.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting, and kind of to talk about both sides fairly, Sigmar does actually print out physically their points still, I think. This General's Handbook came with a separate book with the points.
It does come with a pitched battles I forget what they call it.
Pitched battle profiles,
Something like that.
So that I don't love.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'd like that to be a PDF. So,
right, that almost seems unnecessary. It also, obviously comes out in the codex, of course, makes sense, but it is odd how they still do that. They wrap it up all together with the little card as well for the punch out things and stuff.
We have a picture for that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Here it is, General's Handbook.
Yeah.
Games Workshop website. You see, comes with the little tokens. There's the second book you can see there for the points.
Yep.
So there's things that we don't love about that, but there are also things that are great, and we'd love to see 40K come back to. Spiral Bound.
Yeah.
Amazing. And also, this is, if you're a 40K player, you might not be aware of how great this book is, because they don't even advertise it on this website. On the site, they don't show off probably one of the best features of it, which it comes with bookmarks that are like...
it's like tabs,
They're like
right?
tabs, basically.
Yeah.
Segmented out, so you can easily flip to different sections. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I like this. I want this.
It's very handy.
I would pay more to get this book.
I don't know what they
for
talk about,
40K.
but also on the back cover is, rather than be like a cool piece of art, which would be cool, it's instead like all of the basically stratagems that you can use in Sigmar and the universal spells and stuff as well. So
Exactly.
it's a very handy book.
It's just an amazing book. It's
Yeah.
super useful. They've really considered the players. Love this book. So, 40K.
Yeah, Sean, I
this
think
thing.
Pitch Battles is free download now, and I'm thinking that they won't. I'm thinking like 40K.
This might be the last one.
Yeah, I'm guessing the next General's Handbook that comes out in the summer won't have it anymore. Also, for what it's worth, we'll get to it, but most of that's in the app, which they're trying to push people towards. It is a great book. The Spiral Bound is the thing. The 40K book was Spiral Bound.
It was the first one.
The first one.
Exactly.
And I have to imagine its scale and cost.
I think this is another topic, and I don't have a...
Doesn't cost go down as scale goes up?
Cost goes down as scale goes up.
But
yes.
maybe the cost would be too high.
But here's the thing.
I don't know.
And this is a big difference. General's Handbook, once per year. 40K, I feel like, I don't think I'm crazy, where they had said it was going to be like 6-month seasons, which means we should have a new season right now, but we don't. But they had said it's a tighter, smaller time span.
I know they did say, I thought they said 6 months. Is that right? Have we been in Nephilim for 6 months?
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
That would be April.
Nephilim, when was BAO?
May.
No.
BAO is a Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it's around that time span. It is around that time span.
BAO Day is Memorial Day weekend, which is like, you're right, it is the first.
Nephilim came out right after, I think.
Right after BAO.
Yes, exactly.
So if we're not there, if we're not at 6 months, we're within like a couple weeks of 6 months. So you're right, yeah.
So what are the pros and cons of that, right? Pros, faster updates means, in theory, a more balanced game. Shakes up missions, keeps them from maybe being boring. That's a pro. Con, well, I don't know about you guys, but I have never actually bought a Nephilim book because I couldn't. I tried. The only copy that I have here
was sent to the studio?
Was sent to the studio from Games Workshop.
I don't think I ever bought an Nephilim book either.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
There were shipping issues. We're working on shipping ourselves, and we know that there are actual big problems. But by doing basically a single print run, it means you're very susceptible to issues like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're printing a book for only 6 months, how many copies do you print? So pros and cons of the shorter life cycle. I'm curious in chat, what do you guys think about that? Are you liking this? Do you want to see like the longer time span, like a general handbook, which probably also lends itself to a nicer quality book? If you're producing a book for a full year, you can have it. It'll be nicer quality. The barrier to entry doesn't have to be quite as low because people are getting a little more play time out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's an interesting question. And
speaking of interesting questions,
yeah,
our dear friend and fellow content Warhammer creator Liam Dempsey.
Yo.
Check out his channel, which is easy to do, I'm guessing, because are we going right to him?
We're going to take you on a trip to Uncle Liam right after this.
Right after this. Liam says, thank you, Liam, by the way. He says, why is there such a disparity between how they do it for 40K and how they do it for AOS? Right. I used to theorize, and I think a lot of us did, what Liam's about to say here, that AOS was the testing ground, but there's such a difference now. And I think we don't necessarily want to get into too much gameplay stuff, but we think like Mortal Wounds kind of came from AOS.
It is where they first appeared.
Power level, which nobody uses, that was really a failed test. Sigmar doesn't use power level at all anymore. It did seem like those things did first come from AOS.
Yeah.
And then, were things like this, like how updates are done, how shipping is done, is that also? Right. It's crazy to me. I get inside of the building in Nottingham.
Yeah.
I get that they get to make different changes.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me that then one of them can be like, hey, we want our books to be spiral bound. And someone's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then someone else is like, hey, here's our book. And like, okay. Not spiral bound? Or like, do they ask? Like,
right.
And it's like, nah. That's what's weird to me.
I'm very curious.
Like,
yeah.
and the shipping, like, I don't know if shipping is, I think Netflix, I can't imagine like somehow the Sigmar team shipped the book better than Nephilim did, than the 40K
I've seen
did.
Some people discuss in chat, like Nurgle Matthew and others, saying that like there was an issue specifically with the manufacturers of the Nephilim book, or I had heard other things from people in the shipping sort of pipeline.
Yeah.
About I don't know, a million different reasons, but same. I can't really imagine them using a different like manufacturer.
Yeah, Sean just said, I wonder if they use 2 different printers, like basically.
It kind of feels like it has to be that, right? Yeah. This Liam guy's got it right. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, Liam, the question, it is an interesting question. Why is there such a disparity? I don't feel like we can all guess. Some of my guesses are this. Way smaller. We often see, something like, look at how Tesla really exploded onto the market.
Okay.
Look how Tesla was able to become a thing and get electric cars, just like boom, electric cars.
Yeah.
Like we were in the Bay Area where they came from.
Totally.
Is it an exaggeration to say 1 out of maybe every 20 cars you see is a Tesla?
No, not
probably
much.
not.
Yeah,
right?
It's a lot.
It's a lot of Teslas around here. Like they're very popular, yet the big companies like really did not get electric cars out.
Right, exactly.
Quite as easily. And I think that there might be something there. The team is bigger. It can be a little hard to turn on a dime.
The 40K team?
The 40K team. I have to imagine it's somewhat proportionate in size, which is like, I think, do we know how many more people only play 40K? Or how many more people are playing 40K versus Sigmar? I don't think we know, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a magnitude.
It is a lot. And it is, as you kind of say, it's more entrenched. And so you're going to have different people, different teams, different people in charge. Even within 40K, like you have game designers, you have production, you have the higher levels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different people, and all kind of have their own goals. They're trying to work together, but this is still a big group of people, and so I think that's going to cause some of the other issues. Sigmar it feels like it has more permission to try things out. Again, I don't know for sure. This is speculation, but
yeah, it does. And I guess for size we could do like a hypothetical one. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the wondering what that is. It's probably like usually about a third to half, which is a lot, but that's not necessarily still the information, right, that you need, because
number of players doesn't necessarily correlate to this, right?
Right, exactly. And then some people play both, and
exactly.
So you really couldn't tell.
So I don't know.
I feel like it's got to be that.
Yeah. I don't know. But these are awesome things that they are doing. We'd love to see 40K do them. And to be honest, as we mentioned, probably one of our favorite things about this General's Handbook, you'll notice from this other screenshot is you can still buy it.
Yeah, it is.
Nephilim not even on the books, so we'll see if and when that comes out. And I think another thing that you had kind of touched on was the app.
Yeah.
Right? And people are also mentioning in chat, I think, faster updates are great. The General Handbook is great, but also if we could go to more digital or purely digital, then this becomes not an issue. And the Sigmar app has done good things, which the 40K app actually has been improving. I know it got a lot of flack, but there's a lot that can be done there with this. Again, this War Scroll update came out same day. Points all fixed, all adjusted
in the app.
And so, like me, I'm a casual Sigmar player, so I'm able to go into my list and say, "Whoa, this is 220 points, over now," and I can adjust that.
Right.
I don't even have to think about what's on the War Scroll.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, super important for accessibility, which is everything in this game.
Liam, real quick, thank you for getting some memberships. I actually see Drew got a membership. We know this guy. He's in the area.
Drew?
I play Sigmar with him.
Oh, nice.
Actually, Drew and I've never actually played. We just keep going to the same events.
Oh, that's funny.
I actually don't necessarily want to play Drew because he will totally wreck me. He's an amazing player, and he has a scary Seraphon list, which I hate playing against because they beat me up. They're scary.
That's really funny. I also got Demelza. What's up? Welcome to the Tabletop. Glad to have you.
And thank you, Tea Time with Toby. How would you go about writing lore for a custom 40K Lord of Votan? Oh, let's get to this one. Oh, we'll segment with this one. We'll come back. We'll come back to Tea Time. The app is big.
Huge.
Going back to the app for a second. One thing that's been really funny about the app is it was insanely hard. Not you.
Yeah.
It was insanely hard to convince John and Bridger that the app was different than the 40K app. They did not want to believe me. Like whenever I would bring it up, I'd be like, "Yeah, you really should get the app." They were like, "No, I'm not getting the app." But I think Bridger is still mostly a holdout.
Yeah.
I think he uses it, and I think John is a convert.
Yeah. John loves anything digital.
John does.
He'll have the book in front of him, and he'll be like, "I gotta pull up my." I'm like, "The book's right there, John. It's right." Sorry.
Yeah, he needs. I don't know. He likes the.
Yeah, these millennials.
Yeah, these millennials. The app is really good. If your book is newer, it's a red book, which the first ones were the Stormcast and Cruel and Oryx. If you're them or later, the app is you can go and you can look at the War Scrolls.
Yeah.
You can build an army, but you can't look at artifacts. You can't look at specific book rules.
Yeah.
And 40K does this, I think, the same way.
They lock it a bit more. I don't think you can look at the units the way that you can in Sigmar. So Sigmar, like you said, the top level is all available, right? With 40K, basically it's all locked out unless you have that full book. So that's also another interesting concept is like the information is a bit more freely available.
Right.
But really, if you want to play the army, you still need to buy the book and kind of add
You do, and you
a good balance.
Yeah, you unlock it. Now I will say this about GW, with both 40K and the AOS, I have found Bridger was trying to unlock a book the other day.
Yeah.
I have found that unlocking the books is, as long as you're signed in when you go to do it, is a pretty straightforward process. Yeah, and they keep your library for you. They show you everything you have.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've been liking this system. I agree. I think it's absolutely crazy, and just wondering when they're going to pull the trigger on it to say, "Hey, we're basically a subscription service now. Yes, you can buy models from us, of course, and paint and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We all love that stuff. But like other than that, and we have books. Yeah. I almost want to see all the books out of stock because I want them to make so few, and I know there are people that always want them.
I love books.
Me too.
I like to read. No, I was kidding.
I mean,
famously don't like to read.
I do love the app and the book. I do love this little book.
Yeah.
My codexes are fine. I take them with me to RTTs. I take my daughter's codex, or it's a war tome. I take it with me, but I don't really ever barely look at it. I pretty much just go quick in the app and get to it.
That's the thing. I love the.
The book feels quicker to you.
It's not always quicker, but I also just like it. I like to, at night you're like,
yeah.
You're all set up and you get your book,
of course.
That's the physicality. So
yeah.
if I had my druthers, I would have both. I would have this nice quality book.
Yes.
I'd have the app.
That's what I do.
And I don't know that they'll ever go fully digital because it becomes an accessibility thing.
No, I think you're right.
And from a business, accessibility also just means more customers too, right? I know many people have smartphones now. There are lots of people who can't afford it or can't afford X, Y, or Z like digital version of things. So I think they'll never fully get rid of it.
It brings up a really good question. You bring up a really good point.
Yeah.
Snuggling in bed at night.
Yeah.
Getting in bed, getting all cozy.
Totally.
Booker app, because
Right.
here's the thing. You take the book and you're laying there and Meg's like, hey, can you turn the light out?
Right.
And you switch to the phone. And it's great that you have that option.
Totally.
But meanwhile, the book feels nicer, and but you also have to kind of like sit up for the book.
Yeah, that's true.
The phone you can hold above your head, but then we have another problem.
Yeah.
You drop the book on your face, it's not that big of a deal. Drop your phone on your face. Have you guys ever dropped your phone on your face?
Unfortunately, I have, yeah.
It's more pain than the average person living in Western society interacts with. It is probably the top thing that hurts somebody living in the first world. It is a major first world problem. It hurts.
It is brilliant.
And the book's just not as bad.
It's not
it,
bad.
it falls.
It's
It usually lands on you like perfectly contoured to like land on you like this.
I heard that's what they were designed to do. Actually.
Yeah, to fall on your
That's
nose
why they're
gracefully.
shaped the way that they are. And you know what? To your point. My newest obsession, Beasts of Chaos. Look, I was able to just pull it up on my app, totally free.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
Oh yeah, because it's an old book.
It's an old book.
It's an old book. Yep.
That book is so old. It's crazy. I just got it from here.
Yeah.
I remember Jeff getting that book to preview it years ago.
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, how is this still the current book? But anyways, getting off track here. Any other questions kind of regarding this whole
I think we're caught up on this. People like this is one thing where everyone's like, "Yep."
Yeah, I know exactly. It's kind of obvious, right?
Kind of weird.
Without being like, oh, 40K is doing it wrong. This is how we should do it. Like legitimately, these are cool things. We'd love to see them brought to 40K, and it kind of comes down to these different kind of topics that we're talking about. So the points change differentials, points changes in the data slate, which 40K does do. I will say that the last balanced data slate, there's the big one with Mechanicus and Drukhari. They had points changes. Personally, and I think a lot of people are of the same mindset. I think this last one could use points changes for some armies, such as Tyranids. But whatever. Higher quality books would be very interesting. There's a dynamic of like 6 months versus a year, but higher quality books, just like General's Handbook, would be awesome. And then this is very small. Distribution issues, also connected to 6 months printing versus a year printing.
That one's odd to me. Yeah, I guess. Well, okay.
It's related. It is.
So I have one last question about this.
And then the app, of course.
The app is big. I have one last question. So we can look and we can say, cool, we like these things that you just went over that Sigmar does that we want 40K to do.
Yeah.
But can we dream further?
Oh, okay.
If we dream further, what even could both of them do? Like what? I'd be very curious.
What could Sigmar do from 40K?
Well, that's one, and I don't. That's one. Sorry, I'm not. There's a lot of cool things. I play both games, and there are a lot of things I like better about 40K than Sigmar. But when it comes to distribution and this type of stuff we're talking about, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. What the other what
40
the other direction?
But more so, I was also just asking like, what still would we pick? What still do we want to see, even from Sigmar? Sigmar's not doing right.
That's a great point. Great question.
It's almost hard to imagine.
It's so hard to imagine. I don't know. What does chat think? Let us know. Sigmar also has 6 month season.
Yeah, I saw you were saying that earlier, Shikari, and I don't think that's correct for pitched battles.
Isn't it a year?
Yeah. Now what they did do in between pitched battles. Well, okay. So there's a couple things going on with this. And it is confusing. Okay. And this is something that I guess 40K has clarified more.
Sure.
So they had General's Handbook come out in, this one says 2022-2023 Season 1. A General's Handbook did come out last year during the summer. That's when I got into Sigmar. It was the start of 3rd edition.
Yeah.
And this was summer 2021.
Right.
And it said pitch battles, and I don't think it said this season 1 on it. That we still have the book, we could look, but it just said I think 2021, 2022.
Yeah, it was just a year.
Didn't have that season 1 on there.
Yeah.
And then what they did is, I want to say, right 6 months in, they did release Thondia.
The Season of War.
The Season of War.
Not confused with the old campaign system or the YouTube channel.
Right, they did release Thondia Season of War book, which had the rules for the Kronspine Incarnate, had a whole new mission, had really something, gosh, we've been wanting to do, and we might do sometime Mondays in the Moral Realm, just saying, is play through the Thondia campaign, which is a matched play campaign.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Totally.
And I think they designed it to be like a GT that you just play through.
Yeah, you can basically play the campaign throughout, and then one game informs the other, which is very novel and interesting.
No, it doesn't.
They don't inform at all?
No, you just score points through 5 games. It is a matched play.
No, I thought there's a section where it's like, if you got a greater victory last game, you get this game or something.
Maybe? Someone check us if they know.
But it is a campaign through a tournament, right?
Yeah, it is a match play. It's not narrative. There might be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's just who you match up, who you're supposed to match up against, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because you're supposed to get a group together.
Right.
There's something though. You are right. There's something.
But it's not the new season in the General's Handbook.
Right.
Like the standard.
So you're correct in that concept, Shikari. And then this one, you're right. It does say pitched battles 2002, 2023, which hasn't happened yet, about to, in a couple months, season 1. So I guess we're thinking we're going to get a season 2?
I just read that as this is the first season. The second season will say 2023, 2024.
Except
season 2.
Except last season would have been the first season.
Yeah, but they constantly reinventing themselves.
You
know, what's the you always skip like the 10th edition of something or something?
So
there's like a design thing.
So I agree with both of what you two are saying, and then that is true. I actually don't know what's going on now.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm getting a new General's Handbook.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting another Thondia thing, which frankly I actually dug. I don't know if other Sigmar players got into that, but I actually dug that, and I really want to play through it.
If I only played Sigmar, I think I would like that. Just the way that with 40k, I'm enjoying this Crusade stuff as another way to play on top, because there's only so much of one type of 40k you can play.
But and it's weird because it's almost not even like Crusade and Sigmar is called
I know it's not.
Path of Glory.
Yeah.
I know, but it's exactly.
I know it's not narrative, but it still feels narrative.
It does, and it feels like something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess that's fair enough. I have no idea what is going on with my game in the next few months.
Yeah, I'm seeing lots of great points in chat. People talking about, of course, the books have a lot of lore, which you don't get in the app. This is 100% one of the reasons why I like the books, because you can't just kind of like sit there and read your lore. So that's valid point. And then of course I think it was Crypt Shadow. No, Tyrael mentioned they just if you're a casual player, all these updates are tough. So kind of a good reason for the once per year versus 6 months. So that's a classic balancing act, which they're still figuring out.
I do want to thank Meg real quick for the gifted membership. Now Monday.
Oh, thanks, Meg.
We had to have somebody else to give this speech. I forget who did it.
Wow.
And they did it okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't like. I mean, did you tell them? Did you tell Meg that this is the best way? This is a great way to support the channel? I don't know if you know. It's going to gift someone a membership. It's going to help the channel grow and help put food on this man's plate. Look at him. He needs it. So yeah, it's good stuff. So greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat Ray. Do you think AOS is more user-friendly as far as entry? I don't play AOS, but it seems startup cost is better than 40k. You get a competitive army for less cost.
By and large, I think yes. I think armies are smaller. The starter boxes are great. The rules are less. I will go so far as to say they're less complicated. I think the interactions can be complicated, but the rules are basic. And then the last thing I'll say, that's the only contradictory point, which is the topic I said I wasn't going to talk about today, which is related to the double turn. Sigmar is a very harsh game. You can lose on a dime by just getting killed or frankly messing up the double turn. And I think while we're not here to discuss if the double turn is good or bad, it is a factor. If you're
Yeah.
a new player, that's a big learning curve. So that's
It is
the
a big
one
learning
thing
curve,
I think
yeah.
holds it back from being a more casual game.
Yeah. It also has a lot of
Accessible.
as far as rules go, because we do talk about different rules in the games and how we like this component more than this one in the other game. Adrian's absolutely right about the double turn. The other thing is, I do feel like some of the weird gotchas, your opponent really, you should always have that conversation in both 40K and Sigmar.
Sure.
But some of them are just funkier in Sigmar.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they're funkier, maybe with less of a cost. They're less costly. Like in 40K, it's like, cool, I didn't know that unit could suddenly hit on 2s, reroll 1s.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I might not have gone there,
Exactly.
right? In
Yeah.
Sigmar, it's like, cool, I didn't know that thing could make me not be able to do a charge.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I'll just stand
hugely
here.
impactful.
I don't lose my unit. Right. But so it can be
totally agree.
it can be kind of funky. As far as Adrian's point though about entry of cost, I think I would agree. Like one of the things I did when I got into Sigmar was I bought that's why I start with the Beastclaw Raiders, right? That box was if you buy 2 of them,
Yeah.
I think you are at 1,500 points.
Yeah.
And if you buy 3, you're over. You can easily be over 1,500 points.
Amazing deals.
And you're done. So I got basically a Beastclaw Raiders army for $2,100.
Yeah.
Or $210. Not $2,100. That would be that's like Solar Ox. So I think typically with them, if you can get the start collecting and then split one of these boxes that's come out recently, like over here off the camera we have Arcane Cataclysm, which is the Cataclysm, not Kism. Catechism.
Could work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could work.
Even if
Not
this is
not with
age.
these 2 factions, but yeah, Arcane Cataclysm. Start collecting box, Arcane Cataclysm, and then maybe you like fancy one more character or unit you see, and you pick them up. You're done.
Yeah,
you're
very accessible.
You're probably it.
I'm like a serial Sigmar army person because they're so compact. Like
Yeah.
I love like just like obsessing over an army and like building and painting 2,000 points and then you're done. And you go to another one and do the same. Like it's so satisfying because I really can't get that from 40K. Unless I'm doing like knights
And then you can buy like a little character
and change it up.
and change your army tremendously. A character, like, once you hit that 2,000 points, you go get a few games in. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm Pat. Yeah, you get a few games in with that 2,000 points. You go back and say, cool, let me buy one character and one unit that character, like, specially buffs. It's like, it feels like a whole different army now.
Exactly, which is really cool and satisfying. So
I would agree. It actually, people don't, I think this or know this, but it is actually like in between full battle and skirmish level. It feels kind of like that. And that's it. I don't know that there's a lot of things in that zone right now.
yeah, that's true.
It's a weird zone. I don't know if you think it feels that way, or if you're just like, it feels like a full. I mean, it feels like a full battle of Sigmar, but you have like, I typically have 9 units in 40K. I usually have 13, 14.
Yeah,
I want to say, depending on the army
and the
of course.
model count. Yeah, depending. Yeah, no, I think it is much more skirmishy. It's not full skirmish, but
It's not
getting
full
there.
skirmish.
It's getting there.
It's over full skirmish.
Over full skirmish.
It's not total
not total
pure
skirmish.
skirmish. It's not pure skirmish.
Yeah, which gets extra confusing because like people are like, well, technically skirmish is just like not rank and file, which
this
40K is a skirmish game too.
This is all very
Yeah.
confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a different good talk for sure.
A quick thank you to Alec Man. One thing I think AOS could take from 40K is a more robust terrain system. Shooting in AOS is too lethal, especially now, and you need more ways to stop it.
Shooting in Sigmar.
Yeah. I somewhat agree with you about the first part, about having a more robust terrain system. In some ways they do, in some ways they don't.
Yeah.
The terrain is the rules are very basic for terrain.
Yeah.
But you're also more incentivized to actually interact with the terrain in Sigmar. Or at least you're less punished by interacting with the terrain in Sigmar.
Yeah.
But like, it is nice to go send a unit in and get cover. Needing to have like all 20 people in to get the +1 save
Right.
can be hard for a lot of
super tough.
factions. Yeah.
And that's where like I definitely sympathize because I think it is confusing. You know, if you go to play game Sigmar, it's not automatically clear what of each type of terrain you need. Like, should they have windows, so to speak,
Yeah.
or should they fully block things? Like, for me, to this day, that's not a clear concept to me. I think when you play in tournaments, there's more guidance, but that's not in the core game, right?
Right, no, it's
that's
not.
something that kind of the community has decided.
Right.
Because, yeah, I think it is confusing. And there are shooting armies that will just, you're like, well, most terrain has any holes in it. Like 40K only solves the problem by adding extra rules, which Sigmar doesn't have. So,
well, it does for woods, but that's it. Woods are very well defined in
love
Sigmar,
that.
and that's it. Yeah, they need to do that with everything.
But even there, it's like, you know, whenever I play, I don't know what the tournament standard is. It's like, well, there should at least be one woods on either side of the battlefield.
There should, tournament-wise, you're supposed to have two, and then
two on each side?
No, well, it's player placed.
Right, but you each get one each.
No, one person places all the terrain, but if they put like two, if they put two on their side, the other person just then gets to pick the side. So one person places the terrain. It's like that thing. You're an oldest of four boys. It's like when your mom's like, Adrian, you cut it, but he picks which one. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So perfect.
Yeah.
See, I like that. And again, that's like a tournament created rule.
Yeah.
Because it is confusing. So I would love to see some clarification on that for sure.
Or like you do that with Mysterious Terrain too. Yeah. And then I put like Arcane on my side and Damned on their side, and he's like, I'm like, you want to switch sides? He's like, yeah. And then we just switch Arcane and Damned.
Exactly.
A big thanks also to Christos. AOS also has 2 seasons.
Okay.
We had 2 pitched battle books, Beast Hunters and recently Galatians. I would like to see AOS missions design in 40K. Yeah, but that's what we're saying though.
Those were a year apart.
Christos, they were a year apart, and this second book, the Galatians one, says season 1 on it.
Yeah.
So we're all, but that's the reinventing thing.
I think it's just a reset thing. They're like, hey, we should have called that other one season 1, but we'll just call this one season 1.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's what it is.
I think you're right. I think I don't know that you're right, but it's in the realm of possibilities of things that definitely could be right.
Yeah. However, I think make sure we have time for the other thing.
Yes.
Sigmar does drastically change the way the game is played more than Nephilim, and I think that's an interesting concept. I think it's a very Sigmar concept. I don't know if it would work in 40K.
Yeah, it shifts the balance of like, who do you want in your army, and what do they?
Yeah, I should have muted myself.
Yeah,
that's a producer trick.
Old producer's trick. Mute yourself for your
sneezing loudly into the mic.
Or you could do what I did and mute me.
Yeah.
While I'm talking, sneeze and then unmute me.
I love it.
Yeah, the mission design. I agree. The mission design in. Christos mentions he likes the mission design from Sigmar. You'd like to see that in 40K. Mm-hmm. I almost wonder, do you think that's the mission design, or do you? I feel like that almost is like the secondaries. I think mission design is fine in both games. I think it's
hard to tell because I played a lot of 40K. Sigmar less so. I think the Sigmar missions feel more flavorful, but also might be a factor of just I haven't played them all. You know, like I know the Nephilim pack forward and backwards. I know people are getting a bit bored with the missions, but maybe that's the same for Sigmar players. Like, do you feel like they're fresh and interesting to you? Or kind of like, well, I know how this mission plays.
I think they released 9. Yeah. Guys, or 12? 12. They released 12
missions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
3 of them are like patently unplayable in a competitive setting. Doesn't mean I don't play them.
Yeah.
Or haven't played them, but typically they are.
Yeah.
Almost always one of them has a win condition that kicks in after turn 3.
Yep.
We typically avoid I haven't played one of those in RTT or GT.
Makes sense.
So 3 of them are like that, pretty unplayable in a competitive setting. Yeah. 3 of them are crazy flavorful, like Realmstone Cache, exploding and spreading the things out, or Nidus Paths, teleporting.
Yep.
And then the other 6 I think are pretty standard, typically. So typically when I go to an RTT or a GT, they usually throw one of those very flavorful ones in, like Nidus or Realmstone.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 are like head-on collision and stuff, just like basic.
Standard.
Yeah, stays.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Matthew Nurgle Matthew, for the Horde. Are we still doing that?
No.
What is that from?
This is from Tuesday's game, where we discovered everyone's WoW allegiances. Let us know in chat.
Oh, right.
This should be a poll. Look, my family and myself were Alliance players through and through. Apparently everyone else in the world, including Chad and John, are Horde people.
Horde is like the orcs?
Horde is like orcs. Those are like, basically it's everyone who wants to like be cool, edgy kind of guys. They think they're super cool.
So this is like Warcraft 2.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
That was a very like Marvel moment. So yes, World of Warcraft, based off of Warcraft.
Based off of famously based
World
off.
of.
Well, no, but there was There was also Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And World of Warcraft, I would actually say, is based off Warcraft 3.
Yeah, well, it's based off of this. It's the same world.
I get it's a true check.
You know, I don't.
We're now at Warcraft.
I'm gonna dig you out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nergo Matthew. Appreciate it as always. And also,
Hotter Grot.
it's time for Hotter Grot. Today, something near and dear to everyone's heart: the Imperial Guard. We're getting a peek at a lot of the new models. Of course, the new army box, which is super exciting. And in particular, I'm interested in this guy, the Lord Solar Leontus. Every time I try to type his name, I have to go look it up because I'm like, that can't possibly be this guy's name. Shane just called you a boomer in chat. But look, this guy, very interesting. Sounds like he's going to be big leader, maybe Supreme Commander. Pretty interesting stuff. I do have some images somewhere of this guy.
And tea time, we will get to your super chat. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten it.
100% will. So this guy, he's like a Imperial Guard commander on a horse. It is a cybernetic horse.
Yeah.
And so the question of the day, of course, is it hot? Is it grot? Of horse?
Of course, it's a horse.
Of course, the horse. Is it hot or is it grot? And let's be specific. I think it's rather than being like, oh, I like this model or I don't like this model. What do we think? What do you think, Zach?
Be specific immediately. There's just like Grot. Listen,
Grot AF.
Guys, you know what I'm gonna say. You know that I absolutely love this model. This model. So first of all, I'm already queuing up to paint a Guard army.
Yeah.
And this army, even if he can't go in that army,
yeah.
Can he go in that army?
In which army? Sorry.
Like if I did like a Talaran army, could he go in that? Do we know those rules?
As far as
do we know his
I
rules?
know, I don't think he's like associated with a certain one.
He just shows up and helps anyone.
Basically,
I hope so.
He's like the leader of the Guard. He's their more involved, basically.
Okay, I love this guy. I love the horse. I love the way they've painted him. I think it helps sort of for me. Guard are always this like faction in the Imperium that makes too much sense. Guard almost make too much sense.
Okay,
You're almost like, wow, they're almost like Tau. They're almost like they show up, they do their job. Mm-hmm. They're not overly obsessed with praying all the time. Like we do see that pop up.
Yeah.
And they have their sayings, but their sayings are like, okay, they kind of grumble their way through.
Right. They're like normal, sensible people.
Exactly. And
and you like that.
They still are like that.
Like that.
I do like that. But I also like this tie-in of like, I always love the leadership tie-in where the leadership is more like, oh no, we are living descendants of living gods or whatever, right? And this guy just does that more for me. It both visually, the style, the cybernetic horse is like this tradition thing that I think they would do. Like I love everything about this model.
It's funny that not funny, it's interesting that you like the way they painted it, because I think a lot of criticism I've seen has been about the way they paint it. Mm-hmm. So like the baby blue colors, people they don't like that for whatever reason.
I love it. And
I think it is a contributing factor. I'll play devil's advocate.
Okay.
To be clear, devil's advocate here. I think he makes no sense. Like, why is this the leader of the Guard? Like, I think I wanted them to be more gothic. I think the horse is a huge plus.
The horse
is cool. The fact that it's a cybernetic horse.
Yeah.
If it was a regular horse, I'd be like totally off this guy. But having said that, I don't know. I would have loved to see. There's really cool artwork of like big generals, like with tons of like cybernetics and like all their hangers on. Like, couldn't we have like a big like general person who's like really like a tactical genius and like maybe it makes a bit more sense. Obviously, a tank character. I don't know. I just feel like it's not so much that I'm not grot about him itself, but like there are better options possibly, and he feels so weird and pristine amidst this grim darkness.
Do we
I don't know.
have? I've only seen the pictures. I know they've done some Warhammer community articles.
Yeah.
I haven't read about him. If they've shown like how he's become leader, like did he become in the lore? Has he like recently become leader? Because hear me out.
Okay.
He looks like the type of guy where there's like a few people in line to become leader.
Yeah.
And most of them are the types of guys you're explaining.
Uh-huh.
And they all kind of argue with each other.
Right.
And he's super nice and goes around and all of them like him.
Yeah.
So when they pick the Pope, they just pick the nicest one, that they all hate the least. And that's why he is the leader of...
He's the good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's the good-looking guy that's also nice. Right? His girlfriends are really sweet.
Yeah.
Like, she comes around. She's really nice.
They're really
and
nice
so they're
people.
just like, look, I'm not voting for that guy.
Right.
So everyone's after themselves. He's
Yeah.
everyone's. If it can't be me, I guess I'll vote for
Leontus.
Leontus.
And it's funny because the article, the Warhammer community article, kind of leans into this a bit. They talk about how he's like so nice, and they say things like, "There's this one excerpt which you made me think of. Though he's kept at his physical peak by a healthy diet, regular exercise,
Wait,
and
really?
staggeringly expensive rejuvenant treatments, he spent over a century leading the Emperor's armies."
Wait, really?
Yes,
That's like exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of like leading into it and having some fun.
Yeah, like when you're all having a shot in the tent.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he never overstays his welcome. But when he shows up and has one with you,
Yeah.
you're like, yes, we've not seen this guy drink ever.
My
And then
brother
he's like, all right. And then he's like totally fine. And he leaves. And you're like, that was so cool. That's this guy, right? The cybernetic guy comes in and is like angry. He's yelling at you. He takes
Yeah.
the bottle of your scotch and leaves. Like this is the guy. This is the guy that's like shows up and
Yeah.
it's just like he's so cool.
I love that. I love that. I don't know. I just needed him to be more crazy ostentatious or grimdark or just something. I don't know.
No, he's so cool, and his girlfriend Jessica is a sweetheart.
She's super nice.
She's just
I
nice.
will give you that. Yeah.
She's cool.
I think, let's see, we have some questions about this.
Yo,
And then before I put up the
questions
poll,
is a strong word, but here we go.
opinions. Yeah, let us know what you guys think. I'm seeing lots of opinions, which this guy is so divisive, and I'm honestly
I
truly
know.
torn on him personally, outside of just playing devil's advocate.
Thank you, Crypt Shadow. He says, we're still going to get to Tea Time with Toby. We're still going to get to you. Thank you, Crypt Shadow. Space Emperor Alarian, Restitutor or Orientis, Restorer of the East. One thing I'm hoping for is that he has a golden mask. Put some respect on his horse.
Put some respect on his horse?
Yeah.
Look, I think the one thing we can all agree on is...
The horses.
The horse,
Of course.
who's named Constantine.
Okay.
Constantine.
Okay.
Copyrightable. Anyways, that's hot. The horse is hot.
The horse is hot. Everybody
The only
loves the
question
horse.
is Leontus.
But that's crazy. That's his name, and that's this guy's name, and all the weird things I just said.
Yeah.
Because I've listened to this podcast, Mike Duncan, History of Rome, highly recommend it.
That's cool.
And they talk about how that is like a major way somebody becomes emperor.
Yeah.
Is like all the generals are like, I can't stand the other general,
Right.
but we all like this one guy, and then
Yeah.
that's the guy that becomes emperor.
That's also how you play Survivor, too.
That's how you play, a lot of games.
And Game of Thrones.
That's how you play Monopoly. That's how you play like any game, right?
Magic Commander.
Game of Thrones, yeah. That,
Game of Thrones.
Both the Game of Thrones, and the actual Game of Thrones
Exactly.
are played that way.
Yeah. And also like corporate, office life.
Everything, right? I love it.
I can give more examples.
And I love that he drinks like he's definitely got a juicer in his office.
Juicer.
He's like juicing carrots.
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
he takes a run early in the morning.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Looks shockingly good for his age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tea time. Okay, let's get to tea time's question.
Sure.
It's an adjacent question, but it is actually interesting. How would you go about writing lore for a custom 40K Lord of Votan? Have a TV show to base it on, but don't want to make it too apparent. Sorry, it's not on topic. It's okay, it's not on topic.
okay.
It's all on topic.
Everything's on topic. Here.
Everything's on topic here.
So
They didn't tell us the TV show he has to base
I
it
know,
on.
right?
Yeah.
I think you look at the elements that you think are interesting and compelling, and you kind of pull from there. Is it the color scheme? Is it like an extra design element that you want to add on top? Like, is it that they're nautical themes? Is it like what is the one thing you can kind of pull out and transpose? And I really like the way that you're approaching it. I like people being inspired by the things, but I'm not always like, oh, I want to own the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like Votan. Like, not so much for me personally, but I'd be interested in an army that's kind of inspired from them. It's like you take this inspiration and you kind of do your twist on it, and it's a little bit less out of canon, and out of world.
Right.
So I think picking those specific elements and play style too that you can, that'll match that. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked your example. For whatever reason, before the last show I pretty much watched before I went to bed last night was an episode of the Great British Baking Show.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, do you think Tea Time with Toby is basing it off of that?
The Great British Baking Show?
Yeah.
For sure.
And then you said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Because first I was like, well, he's basing it off of something too obvious, like the new Lord of the Rings show.
Right.
But I was like, no, what would be less obvious? And that was a Great British Baking Show. But you actually cited something, Adrian, that's much more makes sense in the middle. And I think I agree with Adrian. As far as lore goes, the other thing I would be interested in, and I created like a lore for my Tau, and kind of gave them a reason why I could. I know this a lot of people who are more narrative purists would say this is kind of lame, but I sort of gave myself an in to how I could play different factions or different sub-factions.
Yeah, I love that.
And I created this like lore that I called the Silence Collective, and it was these Tau who had witnessed atrocities. They get sent to this moon, and they have to basically like recuperate there. Or if they don't, then they stay in that organization forever, and then they're kind of like the Tau terrorists.
What?
And they're like the ones who like have to go do really awful things, like just murder innocent humans, right?
That's all they do.
Just
all
like
day.
clear a planet or stuff like that. So I think you look at what does your faction do? Votan, they're miners, they're businessmen, and you kind of go from there. And you say, well, yeah, they're businessmen.
Briefcases.
Yeah, but they're a different type of businessman than the other Votan. Or
Totally.
So you kind of say like, what are some of the things that define all, like, what's the umbrella
Of businessmen?
What is the umbrella? What are some umbrella themes of the Votan?
Yeah.
Right, it's mining, it's
Right.
technology, it's the ancestors.
Right.
And then you go from there. You say, which one of these things do I want to tech into more? And then also maybe put a twist on it, right?
Exactly.
So that's I think that's the approach. Good luck. Let us know what you come up with, and absolutely post pictures. We have a couple other questions. Oh, back to this guy.
I'm about to put the poll.
Yeah, please. Pat Ray says, look, we have Marines riding giant wolves, so why not?
Yes.
Thank you, Pat Ray, for the support.
Oh, Pat Ray, you're like speaking my soul right now.
I mean, the wolves aren't even mecha wolves.
Well, no, they are.
No, there are mecha wolves.
There are mecha wolves, 100%.
But they ride? They don't ride mecha wolves, though, do they? There's like
there's cyber wolves.
Okay.
But then some of the big thunder wolves actually are like partial cyborgs.
okay.
So they're not fully mechanized.
And that doesn't even make sense because there's no wolves on Fenris. So
My God. Yeah. So here's the thing. I totally agree. Like for me, the issue with this guy is not that like it makes no sense, because none of this makes sense.
none of this makes sense.
None of this makes any sense.
None of this from like what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Why anyone is listening to Adrian and I, or all the way down to the game. None of it makes sense.
If you were to tune in right now, like
it's not what about any of this is about.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, and that's why it's also like, is this guy my favorite? Nah.
Yes.
But like, if you like it, you do you. I think it's awesome. I think if you're excited, it's great.
I think he's currently my favorite Imperial model in the game of Warhammer 40K.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I had to think about it, but I think he might have just beat the ATV.
The ATV. I can't even with you right now.
No, honestly, maybe not the ATV, but maybe Outrider, Primaris Outrider bike.
That's an actually cool model, though.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Let us know, guys. The poll is up, and I do know we have some other super chats also
Yes,
about this.
we do.
If you can maybe influence people, because it's once again very close.
Yeah. Thank you, Carl. This guy's mega grimdark, if you think about being some trench-bound, crumb-caked guardsman, seeing this guy's pompously trot out on the battlefield in pristine condition, knowing he'll take all the glory. Exactly.
Yeah. I love that part of it, for sure.
And what I keep saying is, he's the guy that also you're like in your head.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are annoyed at him, but most people, it's even more grimdark. Because if you're the type of guy that's annoyed about it, and you go back to your regiment and you tell them, like, what? We love Leontus. We love Leontus. Like, shut up, nerd. They like, shove you to the ground. They're like, no, Leontus is the best.
That's my boy.
And Jessica's great. Don't say anything bad about Leontus.
I wish. So this guy, I don't know if this other photo has an image of it, but his base is cool. It looks like it's part of like a Titan or something.
Oh, cool.
But you know what would be cooler? Is if it was just like guardsmen, like dead and dying guardsmen.
Yeah.
And he's like, allow me to inspire you. And they're just like, oh, we're dying in the trenches.
But they're
like,
still like
lean
into it. They're still into him.
They're still kind of into it.
They're like trying to take selfies with him.
Just about to die.
Yeah.
Might delete later. Like, I love that. So So yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Wow. Are we really at a dead tie right here?
We're actually at a dead tie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Any other questions?
Thank you, Tea Time with Toby again. Clarification. He says, I'm going off Red Dwarf. That's a cult sci-fi comedy show about the last human lost in space, lost in deep space with a senile computer running the ship they are on.
Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. Red Dwarf?
Red Dwarf, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I've heard of this, but I don't know what it is.
I would really just take, basically everything we said, but looking at individual design elements or play style that matches it, color scheme. Basing is another interesting way you can do it.
Yeah. Basing is a big way you can do it.
It's a big way, right? That's a great way to theme any army. You could take like a desert Talarn and put him on a nautical base. Nautical Talarn all of a sudden.
Nautical base is big.
Under the sea Talarn would be pretty cool.
Now, by the way, I do want to highlight an amazing comment by David Roberts.
Yeah.
He says, so this guy's basically Zap Brannigan.
Yes.
But no, I think he's not. Like he's better than Zap Brannigan.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's like I have to think of a character like this. Just somebody everybody loves and it's annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like Mr. Peanut Butter from BoJack Horseman. That's who he's like.
That's this guy?
Yeah, he's like Mr. Peanut Butter from BoJack Horseman.
I have one more Grot comment, if I'm going to be picky.
Okay.
It looks like he has a goatee. Like, I know you can't see from where you're at.
I'm going to look up
The chat knows. He has this, like, chin strap. Not a facial hair chin strap, but an actual chin strap.
Lord.
With this big, like, plate right here. And it's not so much that I don't want him to have a goatee. It's just that I think he has a goatee and he clearly doesn't. It's very strange.
Oh, I see. So he doesn't. Do you want him to have a goatee? No, you just answered that.
I'm neutral. It's just kind of a weird.
I'm gonna get a good zoom in here. Let me see.
Thank you, mods. Be gone, Faustland spots.
Okay. No, it doesn't work that way anymore. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I wonder if he has different head options.
Yeah, that's what someone was asking about the helmet and things like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we're gonna be closing the poll very soon. Any other questions?
50-50. Yes, we do. Thank you, Evan.
Hey.
Evan says, "Sup guys? The way I see it, a mecha horse means we can get a mecha bear, like a 40k Watjik from World War II. This is like the bear that like was in someone's army or what? What is?
I don't know about the World War II thing, but I definitely want a mecha bear.
Your history lesson, Evan, is lost on us.
Yeah.
We know some history. I literally just told you I listened to a history podcast on the history of Rome.
But in ancient Rome, they didn't have mecha bears, so
they had real bears.
they had real bears.
Yeah.
Oh, is Hot winning out?
No.
But yeah, totally agree. I love the mecha concept. I think that's
Yeah.
big redeeming quality for this model for me.
The mecha horse concept is super cool. And I agree. If it was a real horse, I'd be like, I'm concerned at what's going to happen when an ion, like a crisis commander, is near a real horse, right? Or
literally anything.
Right. Like what will physically happen to the horse when it gets hit by ion, or what its reaction will be when it sees a venom crawler coming at it.
Exactly.
You know. And thank you. That we already got yours, Tea Time with Toby. Awesome. Cool. We are caught up on chats.
Most excellent army. And in the poll, guys, it's happening. Mr. Leontus, Hot or Grot? 3. Well, me counting down doesn't matter because there's going to be a delay.
I like it. I still like it.
1. Oh, he's hot.
He's
Turns
hot.
out.
Yeah.
Love it.
Barely. It's one of the
Very
closest
divisive.
hot or Grot polls we've
We're
had.
curious, right? Like
Yeah.
he's a very divisive model. So super cool. That's what we got for you guys today. Exciting stuff. Of course, in just a moment, we're going to be transporting you across the mortal realms into Liam Dempsey's channel on YouTube. Definitely amazing stuff. I think he also has some thoughts on Mr. Leontus. Liam's been talking to me for a while about how excited he is for the guards.
Liam's like a guard guy, right?
He's a guard guy in many ways.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. Of course, if you do like this, do consider subscribing. Hit that button down below. It's definitely worthwhile. And also, upcoming stuff on the channel before we leave you guys. Tonight, Hobby Titans, Zach and Kat back at it again.
Yep.
And also on Magic Titans, join Brian, Bridger, Shane, and I as we play some Magic Commander. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm bringing my Gaz deck, so even if you're just a 40k person, you come see Gaz beat people up. It's going to be a ton of fun. And of course, lots of other exciting stuff going on this week. Tomorrow, join us for Narrative 40k. What I was trying to say was Friday, join us, if you remember, for some Aeronautica.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. Yeah, Adrian, it's an hour daylight savings. Oh no, Liam! Okay, cool.
No, wait, daylight savings? Oh,
For them,
they did it.
Ours is not yet. Gotcha. Okay, so it's not going to move you automatically, even though I did set it up, Liam, so.
That's very nice. You know what's really funny about daylight savings times? We have a minute for me to tell this story now. Megan and I, until last night, have been operating under the assumption daylight savings times already happened, and somehow it did not affect either of our lives at all.
That's amazing. I love it.
There's no network TV like that comes on a particular time we watch. We have been mostly indoors when it got dark out.
Yeah.
We literally thought it happened last Saturday. Last Sunday we were in a bar in San Francisco the whole night.
Yeah.
And then Monday we were here.
It's so funny.
We had no clue. Literally, I was like, oh my God. Daylight savings times hasn't happened yet, Megan. I was like, it happens this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
And the only way I knew is because we're going on a safari and weird day safari in Sonoma, and she sent out an email to remind us. I otherwise did not know.
That's amazing.
It was crazy.
It's this Sunday for us, right?
You're
the wrong person to ask. I'm sorry.
Somehow my life was able to, both of our lives were able to continue.
I love that.
Totally fine.
That's just the life that you live.
Thinking we were living an hour in back.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Crazy.
Well, that's given it to you.
I have no idea how it happened.
Oh, that's amazing.
That sounds like a Bridger thing.
Right?
It sounds like something that would happen to Bridger.
It is a very Bridger thing.
To be like, wait, what? It's not 5 p.m. Like,
Yeah, that is a very Bridger thing. Honestly, look, Zach, thank you as always for a good talk.
Of course.
Chat, thank you all. This is all made possible by you. We love hearing what you guys think, getting that communication going, and let us know, of course, if you're watching this after the fact, in the comments below, what your thoughts are on Mr. Leontus, on updates for these games, how they should be doing it. It's been a lovely, lovely afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. No, that's not true. We'll catch you next time on The Good Talk. Bye.